I do believe it's time. I'll just let this slideshow roll on a little bit while I provide some opening remarks. On behalf of the Experimental Analysis of Human Behavior Special Interest Group, EOP-SIG, I'd like to welcome and thank all of you for attending today's session. As time is of the essence, I must keep my opening remarks brief to allow the panelists as much time as possible. Each year, the SIG selects an individual whose career achievements have significantly impacted and advanced the science of behavior analysis. This year's award presentation is particularly special. The SIG chose to recognize Dr. Nathan Azrin, a true pioneer in the field of behavior analysis. Sadly, we have recently lost Dr. Azrin. Thanks to the efforts of Ted Aon, we have assembled this panel discussion of distinguished colleagues to reflect upon Dr. Azrin's life and career. I am very grateful to the panelists for taking the time and effort to participate in this session and travel at relatively short notice to be here with us today. So thank you very much. The SIG is also honored to have members of Dr. Azrin's family in attendance today. If the Azrin family would please rise for some recognition. Thank you. Dr. Azrin earned his PhD from Harvard under B.F. Skinner in 1957. In a career spanning more than 50 years and over 200 publications, Dr. Azrin embodied the scientist practitioner model, having conducted pioneering work in basic, translational, before there was such a term, translational and applied behavior analysis. A few of his numerous achievements include advancing our understanding of aversive control of behavior, introducing applied technologies which are now commonplace, such as the use of timeout from positive reinforcement and token economies, and advancing clinical practice by developing interventions for drug and alcohol dependence, Tourette syndrome, depression, marital dysfunction, parenting, and probably the largest impacts of his efforts in developing techniques for rapid toilet training. Many parents have avoided a lot of aversive stimulation as a result of that work. And finally, chronic unemployment, to name but a few. Indeed, reviewing Dr. Azrin's curriculum because is humbling. There's enough work there to span 5-6 careers, all tied into one. Dr. Azrin was also a committed steward of the discipline by serving as editor of the Journal of Experimental Analysis of Behavior, helping to found the Midwestern Association for Behavior Analysis, which has evolved into ABA-I, as we know it today. And he also helped to launch the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis. So it's easy to say, without his repertoire, behavior analysis would be very, very different. On behalf of the SIG, I am honored to present the 2013 AHB SIG Career Award to the Azrin family. Systematic exploration of the use of token economies at Ann State Hospital. Dr. Yeoman is a professor emeritus of psychology from Georgia State University and maintains a private practice in Atlanta. He has published over 90 scientific articles and 5 books on therapeutic methods involving the emotional and behavioral problems of adults, teenagers, and children. He received his undergraduate and MA degree in psychology from the University of Kansas and his PhD in clinical psychology from the University of Houston. Dr. Yeoman is a fellow of the American Psychological Association, a member of the Georgia Psychological Association, and holds certification, and he's a diplomat in clinical psychology for ABPP. Please help me welcome him, Dr. Yeoman.
Well, it's not easy to follow the path that Nate started, but I thought today what I could do, because it's not easy to follow up on something like what he has done. So what I thought I would tell you is a little bit about him that ordinarily you may not know about. Imagine going into a condemned building where there is a tremendous amount of space, where as you enter this condemned building, what you see is sort of like snow on the ground. There are white flecks all over the place, and some of them are falling from the ceiling. Meantime, you're also listening to click-clack, click-clack, click-clack all over the place. And then there's a chum, pa-chum, pa-chum. Well, what is happening is that the research with wonderful palomas, let's say in Espanol, it's little pigeons. And these pigeons have a lot of feathers, and the feathers are going all over the place. Meantime, a lot of people are scurrying around doing what appears to be very feverish activity. This is my first day at work. And so I'm wondering, what is going to happen here? Because there isn't anything like an administration office or anyone to really guide you into at least your room or something. There's nothing like that. Everybody's everywhere. Nate, not surprisingly, is going from one place to the other. Everybody else is doing something. You're not too sure what they're doing, except they're going into places where there are all these different chambers for different species of animals, for that matter. And again, they're all having fun. It seems like they're all having sort of like, they're playing. That was my impression. They're all playing, and they're having such a good time. And so finally, Nate comes around and says, have you found a place? I said, no, where should I be? He said, just find a corner somewhere. And if you need anything, call Ron Bill. That was somebody who knew where things were. Well, it meant there was no chair, no desk, and in fact, no place except what you decided would be your place. Of course, that was the beginning of the work that actually started me on this road. I felt I was having such a great time that the least I could do is sort of copy what they were doing. And so I started trying to get to know how they put the leads in these different racks. I didn't know anything about it. I had never worked with animals. And so I thought, but they're having such a good time. And, they're researchers and so on. I was very impressed with that. I thought it'd be nice if I joined them. It didn't take but a couple of 3 days before it just happened. It took 3 days, that's all it was. Nate stopped me with just one question and said, what are you doing? I said, just trying to find out how to get the birds to do this and that. And I don't understand this too well, but I'm trying. And he says, why would you want to do that? And I said, you're having such a good time. I'd like to join you. And he said, no, stop that. You're the only one who does human work. You're the only one who does applied stuff. You should do what you're good at. Well, I abandoned, rather prematurely, you might say, my efforts to join experimental and animal work, and in fact dedicated the rest of the time, not surprisingly, to really building what became later on the token economy. One other thing about Nate, he was an unselfish person. He was not competitive, which a lot of places people get competitive, particularly a lot of researchers. He was not competitive. He promoted people. He would always tell me about one of the other people who was doing whatever they were doing. He was so glad to tell somebody about their good work. And so after a little while you realize that you were accepted, not what you did. You had somebody who was actually supporting your work. He was definitely the best person to do research with. There were no meetings. Think about that. If you're doing research at all, you got meetings on Wednesdays or Mondays and this and that, and the staff meetings. You don't have to drive a person into the academic world. And as we know, the academic world is full of these meetings. Hard stuff. Anyway, one of the things that I thought I'd share with you is that since we didn't have meetings, you wondered how did anybody do research? Well, everybody got a chance to be with Nate one-on-one. In other words, there was no reason to have, shall we say, an audience. Because Nate was the one who would actually let each person know about the others, in a sense of details, what they were doing. And ordinarily, I never heard Nate say, I mean, he's not doing well, I mean, he's having trouble. I never heard anything like that. All I heard was positive stuff about everybody he worked with. A remarkable thing, let me tell you. Research is not easy, it's not for the faint of heart. So, these are the qualities of the man we have, and that we're honoring today. And I want to thank you very much for being in the audience. Okay, thank you.
Our next speaker is Dr. Ronald R. Hutchinson. Dr. Hutchinson received his master's degree from Southern Illinois University under the direction of Dr. Asner. He then went on to Yale, where he earned his second master's degree en route to earning a PhD. Dr. Hutchinson has authored over 50 articles, book chapters, and invited manuscripts. He also holds several U.S. patents related to behavioral technology. Dr. Hutchinson has served as the Director of Research for the Michigan Department of Mental Health and has been adjunct professor at Southern Illinois University and Western Michigan University. Dr. Hutchinson is currently the chairman of the Board of Trustees and Research Director for the Foundation for Behavioral Research in Augusta, Michigan. The foundation, which Dr. Hutchinson founded, is a not-for-profit corporation sponsoring research, development, and service provision of behavioral technology towards personal competence and self-sufficiency. The services are tailored to 3 areas of need: early education and guidance for children, employment assistance for unemployed adults, senior home support, and home health support. The Early Education Program is the largest centrally managed nonprofit child care, preschool, elementary school program in Michigan and the 15th largest in the nation. The Employment Program has guided over 126,000 unemployed welfare-dependent adults to employment and has saved Michigan over $200 million in income support payments. This effort approximately 10% of the total state-sponsored welfare client employment assistance during the past 10 years. His work with seniors involves operating as a network of nursing and social services caseworkers, and in-home helpers. The senior support program assists hundreds of seniors to continue independent living. As you can see, Dr. Hutchinson's followed in his mentor's footsteps by going from the basic lab and taking things out into the real world and bringing about pronounced socially significant behavior change. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Hutchinson.